The script is a long collection of hilarious sitcom moments centered around friendship, relationships, acting, misunderstandings, and everyday situations that spiral completely out of control. The characters constantly tease each other, misunderstand simple things, and turn ordinary moments into ridiculous comedy. The episode begins with the characters watching and discussing a TV performance. One of them talks excitedly about acting and explains how actors sometimes take long, dramatic pauses when they forget their next line. He demonstrates the technique with an overly serious expression, making everyone laugh. Soon he gets the chance to perform a medical scene where he plays a neurosurgeon delivering terrible news to a worried family member. Instead of sounding convincing, his dramatic performance comes across as unintentionally hilarious. Meanwhile, another character admits that he isn't actually watching the football game. He's pretending to watch it simply so he doesn't have to help with household chores. Every once in a while, he randomly screams at the television to make it look like he's following the game. When someone asks whether his team is winning, he confidently gives a fake answer, even though the player he mentions doesn't even exist. The group then gets distracted by a ridiculous television commercial. A salesman introduces a supposedly revolutionary product called the Milkmaster 2000, claiming it will save people from the struggle of opening milk cartons. The exaggerated presentation makes the simple task of opening a carton sound like a major technological breakthrough. Another funny storyline involves watching Old Yeller. One character has never seen the ending and completely misunderstands what happens. She believes the dog is perfectly fine because she remembers her mother turning off the television before the tragic ending. When she finally sees what really happens, she is shocked and horrified. Her innocent misunderstanding turns an emotional movie scene into complete sitcom chaos. The characters also discuss dating and discover that one of them has a secret story he uses whenever he wants to impress someone. His friends realize that his famous backpacking through Europe story is actually his go-to strategy for getting romantic attention. Once they figure it out, they can't stop teasing him about it. Acting becomes another major source of comedy. One character has to perform a dramatic hostage scene, but he keeps forgetting his lines and improvising ridiculous dialogue. His friends watch the performance and struggle to take him seriously. Instead of becoming a terrifying action hero, he accidentally turns the scene into a comedy routine. The group also watches scary movies such as Cujo. Characters who normally act tough become terrified while watching the dog attack people. One character pretends to be brave while secretly being completely frightened. Eventually, the fear becomes so intense that having someone sit beside them for protection becomes more important than the movie itself. The script then moves into an embarrassing television interview involving a famous author's family. The conversation becomes increasingly awkward when the author casually discusses extremely personal subjects on television. Her family members react with shock and embarrassment, while the interviewer tries to keep the conversation professional. There is also a funny argument about wedding china. One character wants to use the expensive dishes instead of keeping them stored away forever. The other insists they should save them for a truly special occasion, such as when the Queen of England visits. Their argument highlights a classic sitcom conflict. One person wants to actually enjoy the things they own, while the other is terrified of damaging them. Another storyline involves someone accidentally forgetting an important appearance on a television show. He was supposed to arrive early for a parade, but completely forgot. His friends tease him about his terrible memory, while he desperately tries to come up with an excuse that will keep his bosses from getting angry. The episode also contains several jokes about childhood, movies, and emotional reactions. One character explains that he cried while watching Bambi, but his explanation becomes increasingly ridiculous. His friends try to convince him that it's perfectly normal for a man to cry, while he insists that emotional scenes don't affect him. when they invent increasingly ridiculous scenarios, such as a talking three-legged puppy, his reactions reveal just how differently he thinks. The acting storyline returns when the characters watch a terrible video someone created. Instead of giving honest criticism, they struggle to find something positive to say. Their comments about the lighting, costumes, and performances become increasingly desperate. Eventually, the person who made the video realizes that his friends aren't impressed at all. Another memorable section involves Marcel, a pet monkey, creating chaos. The characters lose track of him while watching television and discover that he has caused an embarrassing mess involving someone's shoes. Their frantic attempt to figure out what happened leads to another round of misunderstandings and jokes. The group also jokes about spending too much time indoors. They encourage each other to go outside and interact with three-dimensional people, but their attempts to leave the apartment are immediately undermined by something interesting on television. Valentine's Day brings another awkward situation, when one character receives a video related to childbirth. What begins as a supposedly romantic or funny surprise quickly becomes extremely uncomfortable. The characters react with shock and horror as they watch the graphic footage, leading to screaming, panic, and regret. The script then takes an even more absurd turn when the friends discover an adult movie that appears to feature one of their friends. They are shocked because the woman on the screen looks exactly like someone they know. After some investigation, they realize it is actually her twin sister. The discovery immediately changes everyone's attitude, and the group suddenly becomes much more interested in watching the movie. One of the funniest moments comes when Joey finally proves that the other person couldn't possibly have watched his tape. The tape contains an embarrassing Japanese commercial in which Joey advertises lipstick for men. Since his friend has absolutely no reaction to this bizarre performance, Joey realizes that he never watched it. The script finishes with more nostalgic and embarrassing moments involving old family videos and prom footage. The characters look at photographs and videos from their younger years, teasing each other about their appearance.